It's just hard for me to read that little.
Here. Director Stock?
Here.
Director Wellman?
Here.
Director Duell?
There.
Chair Sasnett? Please take note
Here.
that both Director Duell and Chair Sasnett are on Zoom.
All right, we're on to flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, public comment. This portion of the meeting is reserved for any person desiring to address the board on any matter not on this agenda and over which this board has jurisdiction. Please be advised, however, the Brown Act prohibits action on items that are not listed on the agenda or properly added to the agenda under the provisions of the Brown Act. Here we go. The board members may, however, respond briefly to statements made or questions posed. They may ask a question for clarification or request staff to report back to the board at a later meeting. Also, the board may act to direct staff to place a matter on the future agenda. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Please step to the podium and state your name for the record before making your comments. Any public comments tonight? No?
One quick one.
Sure.
Niall McKenna. Do we have a measure number yet for the upcoming election?
No, I can take that, Mr. Chairman. So just this morning, it appeared on consent for the Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting. It was approved. It goes back to elections with their blessing to move forward. So I expect one probably next week sometime.
Okay, thank you.
May I get your name, please?
Niall McKenna.
Thank you.
Anyone else? No? Okay. We're on to Board of Directors time. This portion of the meeting is reserved for directors to present to the board and to the public information, announcements, and items that have come to their attention. No formal action will be taken. A director may request that an item be placed on a future agenda for consideration. Anything?
Nope.
Okay. We are on to number 6, our police report.
Good evening, community. Good morning. I'm sorry, good morning. Good evening. Sorry. It was 11 days. I apologize. Evening, community members, board director, manager. We had 6 arrests for the month of April, 104 reports, 135 calls for service. We had multiple arrests for warrants, some for calls for service, some actual traffic stops. We had an arrest from a probation search where the individual had some throwing stars that were sharpened, and he is prohibited from possessing those. We also had a multi-call peace disturbance. It was, I think, 4 calls in 2 days that just continued to escalate. During that time, a 53-year-old woman was arrested for criminal threats who made threats towards small children and an adult, where they actually threw a wrench and some other items at the head of the victim. They were arrested for those charges as well as assault with a deadly weapon. Some drug paraphernalia arrests. And like I mentioned, mostly just warrant arrests. There was a violation of a restraining order arrest where it was found, it originally came out as a peace disturbance, but it was found that the male half was the restraining party from the female half, which is actually a violation both ways, but the female stated that she felt that she had to hang around the person because she was afraid of him, so he was also arrested. We are getting a lot of calls for identity theft. I do caution our residents that if someone is contacting you by any source, if it's email, text message, phone call, any medium, and it seems to be odd, especially if it's really high pressure, please stop and just take the time to call the police department. Oftentimes these individuals who do these pranks, or I shouldn't say pranks, these scams, they are high pressure and they want to be on the phone with you during the whole time. But it's they just want to basically control you through the whole duration of the possible transaction. So we have had residents that have lost $15,000 to $50,000 just recently, and this is a recent thing where, again, oftentimes when I'm hearing residents, they're mentioning, well, it didn't seem right, but the guy was so convincing. And sometimes it's caught by others. Sometimes it's caught by financial institutions, or if it's like gift cards, sometimes clerks at grocery stores and things of that nature. But again, if someone is contacting you for a lottery, you won $2 million and you didn't play the lottery, I'm sorry to say you probably didn't win the lottery. So don't give any money. If someone's saying that your granddaughter or grandson is in jail and they need money, unfortunately, you may want to check that, but please don't give any money or anything like that. But it's definitely a constant, but for whatever reason, we're definitely seeing a peak. And I've noticed that not only just in our jurisdiction, but just in the area as well. But I hate to see our folks being out a large sum of money, because oftentimes you're going to lose a substantial portion, if not all. Sometimes if your financial institution is good, or if it's their money, if it's somehow connected to the bank or like a credit card type of thing, they usually are very diligent in getting their money back or just waive it off. But if it's an account that is tied to you, it makes it more difficult, and the investigation takes longer. And that's just kind of an industry standard thing. So we as a community service district, was actually a victim several months ago, and that financial institution, which will remain nameless, refused to cooperate with law enforcement or even reimburse that money. So just be aware of that, as well as make sure that your financial institutions have your best interest in mind. But again, we are here 24 hours a day to field your call. Just leave a message if we're not readily available, but we want to try to help our residents not make a potentially life-altering mistake. But just wanted to mention that. We did have our first town hall meeting this last Saturday. It was very well attended. Still much more to be desired. We obviously want as many people to come to our meetings, even if it's repeat. We just want to get that information out there, factual information, so people can make a good decision on what they're going to do for their ballot. We have another meeting tomorrow, another town hall meeting with the general manager and our staff and even our support at 2 p.m. at the community center. We had it at the church last week because they really had the audio visual that we really needed and the capacity for the seating, and we had an event as well. So a lot of people were just kind of confused with that, but we're trying to provide the best professional product that we can to you, the residents. So just bear in mind, don't listen to the naysayers who are online kind of questioning what we're doing. We will have some additional throughout the year up until the election in August. So just look at the calendar. Several of those calendars are posted at mailbox sites currently from the police department as well as others. So we just encourage everyone to just be a part of it and attend and try to get that information. And with that, I have nothing else. Does anyone have any questions?
I just have a comment regarding the unsolicited family phone call scams. I heard some good advice. I think that everyone could probably use in some way is to develop a code word that only you and your family members know between you, so that when you ask for it, you know for sure it actually is a family member who is soliciting something from you.
Yeah, I actually have heard that. That's a good point, Ben. Again, having any type of setup, if it's just like an evacuation for your home, you should probably look at that periodically, but also have something like that. But just make sure your family knows that, and you may want to look at that annually, or just as long as they know, so it's not confusing. But that's a very good point, sir.
Any other questions? No? All right, the police report will be received and filed. Moving on, we're on to the consent calendar.
Can I
All
have-
items,
I'm sorry.
oh yeah,
May I have a motion to receive
We need
and
a
file
motion for
first
that?
and second, please?
okay.
I'll make a motion that we receive and file the police report.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on to consent calendar. All items listed on the consent calendar shall be considered routine and will be enacted by one vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the board or an audience member requests a specific item to be removed from the consent calendar for a separate action. Do you want me to read through these, or?
You could just list them if you'd like.
Okay, so approval of the minutes for the April 15, 2025 meeting, approval of the minutes for the April 28, 2025 meeting, review of financial reports, approval of checks for April 2025, approval of CalPERS retirement payments, and review of well production report. Does anyone want to discuss any of these items? No? Okay, can we get a motion?
Make a motion that we approve the consent calendar, including checks for, retirement, and what else do we need, Judy?
The financial, yes.
Okay. There you go. Checks for CalPERS retirement payments and checks for April 2025.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. On to item number 8, draft budget for fiscal year 2025-2026. Discussion of the draft budget for fiscal year 2025 to 2026 and approval to publish a notice of public hearing on the budget at the June 17th, 2025 board meeting. Do we want to go over any of this? Item number 8.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah. Do we usually read through these?
Yes.
Okay.
Teresa usually reads the background and then the recommendations.
Okay. Sorry.
That's okay.
As required by California Government Code, the board and the public are being presented with a draft budget for fiscal year 2025-2026. With the board's authorization, a notice will be placed in the attached B News for comments on the budget. At the June 17, 2025 board meeting, a public hearing will be held in regard to comments on the budget, and then it will be approved by the board of directors. Electronically, we have submitted to each board member the public and the detailed draft budget, an overview of the budget, and an organizational chart showing employees assigned to their respective departments. Should anyone wish to receive a hard copy of the draft budget, please contact Laura Lynn Wyatt and a copy will be supplied. If anyone has questions, you may contact Laura Lynn Wyatt and we will answer those questions prior to the meeting. The recommendations are to discuss the draft budget and make a motion for staff to publish a notice for a public hearing to be held during the June 17th, 2025 board meeting. So we go through this every year.
Every year.
Do we need to add any discussion to this? Does anybody have any questions? No? Okay. Well, then we need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the draft budget to be, and a notice to be published in Tehachapi News for the June 2025. Oh, sorry, okay. Okay, I'll make a motion, we approve the draft budget to publish a notice in the for June 17, 2025 board meeting. A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. On to item number 9, approval of resolution 2025-07, authorizing the financial officer to prepare a report summarizing a list of properties with delinquent and inactive charges and setting a hearing date in accordance with the Government Code Section 61115. The background is, after years of losing revenue, the district board in 2010 developed a policy in conjunction with the Government Code Section 61115 that allows the district to collect monies that possibly would be lost because of ownership changes, individuals failing to pay final bills, and individuals turning their water off for a period of time. Essentially, the law states that bills for water, wastewater, and solid waste use stay with the property. This allows the district to pursue monies owed by individuals failing to pay a bill, even if those individuals have moved away. The law and the district also allow the district to collect the service fees, even if the property owner has requested that the meter be locked off for a period of time. The thought process is that the district must continue to operate, and the individuals not utilizing water for a period of time does not relieve them of the need to pay the service charge. Since the adoption of this policy, the staff has made numerous changes in our efforts to obtain the payments from the previous homeowners. The changes we have made significantly reduce the number of unpaid utility bills and will continue to work on resolutions as they rise. It should be noted that the money placed on the tax bill is not a lien, but simply a charge for water, wastewater, and/or solid waste. The notice has been placed in the Tehachapi newspaper. The recommendation is to approve the resolution and set the hearing date for the June 17, 2025 board meeting. Again, this is more do this every year kind of thing. I don't know if anybody has any questions this evening. No? All right. Well, then we need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number 2025-07, authorizing the financial officer to prepare us a report summarizing a list of properties with delinquent and inactive charges and setting a hearing date in accordance with Government Code Section 61115.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion.
Just for the record, on the recommendation at the bottom, it says 2025-09, not 2025-07. But at the beginning of the report, it says 07.
That is correct, Chair Sassnett. There was a typo on the ASI only. It is 07. and the
Okay.
agenda was 07.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're moving on to item number 10, which is approval of an expenditure. Approval expenditure for CV2 well necessary repairs not to exceed $45,000. On Thursday, May 8th, 2025, at approximately 11:30 p.m., well CV number 2 sent a failed to run alarm from the SCADA control system. James Pack was the operator on call at the time and responded to the well. Upon arrival, James discovered that the well would not reset or run in hand. James called his supervisor and was instructed to disable the well and turn off the breaker. The following morning, P&J Electric came out and determined the pump had shorted out. He also determined that one of the legs of power from our surge protector was blown, probably due to lightning. Shelby, the well, and pump service were contacted and responded to the well. They determined the pump wall was shorted out as well. Repairs to this well are critical to our distribution system. If by any chance we have any other issues with any other wells, we may not be able to produce enough water to keep up with our demand. A new submersible pump, wire, and new surge protection are all critical repairs that needed to be installed immediately. After repairs are made, we will need to do necessary state testing to return well to service, which will add an additional days to the project. Time is of the essence. Recommendation is to approve the contract with Shelby Well and Pump at a charge not to exceed $45,000 and charge it to 05-8023, which is a water capital contract in our current budget, and approve transfer of monies from Fund 50390, Water Capital Improvement Fund to 50380, General Fund to cover the expense. Did you want to elaborate on this?
I don't believe I need to. This information came directly from our Public Works Director. And yes, I visited the site yesterday and today. And it does show evidence of, being blown by something, whether it be lightning or a power surge or something, but it did do significant damage to the well. And this is very labor intensive. They have to actually remove the roof of the building in order to get the casing out, because it's 20 feet deep, or long, I mean. So, unless there's additional questions, I think it kind of speaks for itself. It is a critical well within our system to supply the water to the community.
Okay. Anybody have questions?
Yeah, being perhaps more ignorant of the situation out at CB3 than I should be, I do have a few questions. And it isn't regarding the expenditure, but for general edification, I think you answered, Laura Lynn, I believe you answered the first one. The lightning strike possibility, that's nothing we can verify?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Because the secondary question off that is it something that might be covered by insurance?
I don't know the answer to that right at this moment, Director Dool. I believe we would need to contact our insurance company and see what their requirements would be to prove a claim, so to speak.
Yeah.
But that would be something that we could look at down the road. But we can't wait for that process to get this well back online. It would be a reimbursement situation.
With the expenditure as such, I am concerned that several of the precautionary measures, the surge protection was blown. That can happen with a lightning strike, but is there anything, and this is in combination with my second question, is lightning mitigation out there. What do we have available?
I don't understand your question. I apologize.
Well, I mean, what people tend to think of is, are there any lightning mitigation systems as in lightning rods out there? But it is an exposed location, and it is a critical well.
I do not know the answer to that right now. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, like I said, I haven't been out there to the actual well site, and I don't know myself. The third thing I would like to cover is the situation with the generator out there. Now, I believe that when that well isn't operating via line electricity, it can be put on generators, but it isn't a switchover thing. One of the maintenance guys has to go out there and push the switch, right?
That is correct, but there was so much significant damage to the pump itself that that would not be possible in this situation.
Right. So the generator wouldn't have been used in any case here.
Correct.
Okay. I just would like to remind you one more time, as I always do, that if that ever becomes an issue with the generator where it has to run for a significant period of time, that you seek a variance with Eastern Current Air Pollution Control District before it becomes a finable situation.
Yes, I understand that.
All right, great. Yeah.
All right, any other questions? No? All right, we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Shelby Well and Pump at the charge not to exceed $45,000. Charge it to 05-8023 water capital contract in our current budget, and approve transfer of monies from Fund 50390 water capital improvement to Fund 50380 general fund to cover the expense.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And all those opposed? Motion carries. On to item number 11, approval of expenditure. Approval of expenditure for Dell Server 2025. Background, the district currently has 3 servers. Number 1, Active Directory server. Runs the domain and all user accounts and DHCP DNS services. Number 2, DataServe provides share files, folders, and runs SQL Server database for enhancing billing software. Number 3, PD Server runs the SQL Server database for RIMS, Police Case Reporting Database. Active Directory and the PD Server run Windows Server 2012 R2. This version of Windows Server went end of life October 10th, 2023, and is no longer supported and is no longer receiving security updates from Microsoft. DataServe runs Windows Server 2016 and will continue to receive security updates until January 12, 2027. The IT department plans to consolidate the existing 3 servers into 2 servers. This requires the purchase of a new and the reconfiguration and eventual operating system update for the remaining existing January 12, 2027. The new server is a Dell PER 360 TMVIP Intel E2488 3.2G 8C 16T 24M Cache Turbo HT95W DDR5. The new server is running Microsoft Server 2025 with the latest SQL Server 2022. In addition to the new server, the IT department is in need of a new desktop computer due to the previous machine failing. The new IT department desktop is a Lenovo Legion T5 261RB8 Intel Core i7 14700F E-cores up to 4.2 gigahertz, 33 megabytes. Windows 11 Pro 64, 32 gig, 1 terabyte HDD, 3.5 SATA 1 terabyte SSD M2 2280 PCIe Gen 4. This new desktop is included in the lease and accounts for $2,210.58 of the total lease. The new server is leased for 3 years with the first payment of $535.08 that includes a one-time process fee and monthly payments of $369.31 thereafter. Total purchase of $11,407.34 by lease's end. There's an end of lease buyout of $1. The new server and operating system should last 10 years before requiring updated hardware and or operating system. This purchase has already been completed. Even though the monthly payment does not exceed capital expense limits, the total paid by the lease end does, so the auditor is asking for board approval. Recommendation is to approve the purchase of the new Dell Server 2025.
I have a question.
Yeah.
For the, when we're combining the 3 servers into 2 servers, are we doing 1 and 2, so the Active Directory and Data Serve will be combined, and then the PD server will still have its own SQL Server database?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that kind of folds into my question I was going to ask Chief. So this maintains the security on the police tech systems.
Yes, which is extremely crucial because of all the sensitive data.
Right. Okay.
Electronics are perishable, so this is something that we've talked about for quite some time and kind of put off. But with that in mind and new operating systems, sometimes it becomes unsupported, so that's why we're trying to pursue this moving forward.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay, then we need a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase of the new Dell Server 2025.
You have to read all.
I figured the recommendations.
All the numbers.
I almost left that one to you.
Blah, 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 blah.
The new person already knows that, right?
Yeah.
I was expecting hazy.
I'll second the motion.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. On to number 12, our committee reports. And it looks like we start with general manager's report.
Committee reports first.
Oh.
I can tell you the first 2 did not meet. I don't know if Chair Record for Public Safety wants to give an update.
Not much to update on the safety committee. We met on Monday. What was it, yesterday, I guess? Yeah, thank you. And just briefly discussed the town hall that occurred on Saturday and had a few good suggestions from either the members of the committee or people that were in attendance. And the only other significant thing is that we've had a number of people in the committee, they've resigned from the committee. We still have a few members left, and we decided that we will not meet again unless we believe that it's necessary to address some issue in the future. For right now, the safety committee is going to go dark.
Also add to that. So it came to my attention by the general manager. She was speaking to a citizen that attended our town hall meeting, and it came to her attention the day after as she was processing this, because we've been living and breathing this for a while now, that the surveys, the questionnaires that we have been putting out to the community may be misunderstood as actual ballots. So we have now put a disclaimer on the bottom of said questionnaire, so there's no confusion. So again, we'll probably be discussing that at every board or committee meeting that we're having, town hall meeting. But I just wanted to make that a point because that was brought up. I know we discussed that yesterday.
Thank you, Chief.
Director Record, approximately how many people were at the meeting
I think
Saturday?
some either of you actually took a head count, I believe.
Yeah, actually, one of our past committee members who was in the audience estimated, he believes he counted 67.
Thank you.
With that town hall meeting, was there a consensus on how most people were feeling?
I'm reluctant to say because I don't want to jinx it, but it went probably the best it could possibly go ever. Usually there's a lot of questions and people put against it, and it was oddly smooth. But again, we do anticipate as we get closer and more people become knowledgeable, that that might not be the case. But there was lots of residents that I did not recognize that were in attendance, and I think overall the information kind of speaks for itself. I mean, either prove it or you don't, but the facts of the data that was gathered by our committee was kind of speaks for itself.
I think the task at hand is just reaching out to more members of the community. I think there's so many people that just still do not understand what's going on. So I think that's our biggest hurdle is getting information out, getting people interested in the whole idea. So just my 2 cents.
All right, any other questions? No? Do we need a motion for this, or is it a received and file? I guess you still have to do a motion to receive and file. Okay, need a motion.
I'll make a motion to receive and file, whatever that was just called.
Committee report.
Committee reports.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
I was waiting to hear everybody. All those opposed? Motion carries. On to the general manager's report.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everybody. So it's been a busy month. You can't tell by my short general manager's report, but it's been a busy month. I want to let everybody know that this is the planning stages for our busy season. And we are currently scheduling all of our lifeguard interviews for next week to get them started. The pool surface became rough over time, and so a new acrylic paint, 2 coats of it have been applied to the pool. And then we, at the advice of the county inspector, we will be painting the edges of the steps a different color so they're more visible as you enter the pool. And we continue to work with the state to fulfill grant application requirements for 2 grants to make improvements to our sewer plant. We are making significant progress. Those grants packages are quite hefty and require a tremendous amount of data and homework and paperwork to be uploaded into their system. So with Public Works assistance, together we've been working diligently on that. The ballots for the police department special tax will be mailed on July 28th. As Chief touched on, we want to make it known, well known in the community. You will receive an official ballot from the Kern County Elections Department. So again, that's kind of based on some of the comments that we received at the town hall. In your packet, I also included our town hall meeting schedule. I would like to encourage any board members that desire to do so to attend and sit in the audience. Because you're a board member, we do ask that you do not speak or go to the podium. You could be viewed as potentially swaying or asking an opinion or swaying the audience. And you can't do that as an elected official. So, also in your packet is the Park and Recreation update. As you can see, we are very, very busy. I would like to remind everyone that our next event will be our Stallion Springs Horsepower Havoc Car Show, and that is a fundraiser for our police department. So we'd like to see everybody there. That's all I have for this evening, unless there's any questions.
And when is that event?
June 14th.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any questions? No? All right, general manager, oh, sorry, we need a, motion.
Make a motion to file the general manager's report.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. And we're on to adjourn the meeting. Need a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second.
We don't need to do all the. All those in favor, okay.